As some of you probably already know, I like my tools. More specifically, in this case, my Panelline scribers. And even more specific, my Yellow House Model Club Panelline scriber. It's a fantastic tool, however a bit pricey for most, so that is why I'm always on the quest to finding some others that might be a bit cheaper and do a decent job, or might even be better. Now in this case I have found one that is probably just as good and also just as expensive, but the quality is there and it is from a well-represented brand, so it should be readily available to most of you. This one is from Tamiya. It's a new tool they just released, and I really like the way it feels in my hand, as the grip is a lot smaller and feels like a bit of a detail brush for painting, and the one from Yellow House Club might be a bit big and bulky, but I like that one as well. I'm pretty much in between on which I would choose, but both are really good options. I do want to note though that I think the Panelline scriber from Tamiya is really focused on being a better version of the one from Yellow House Club. It looks like they got completely inspired by the one from Yellow House Club and were surprised it was so good that they felt the need to make one themselves to maybe improve upon or just rival the one from Yellow House Club. Now, another important note, I did not get sponsored by any of these brands. I bought them myself with my own money, and they have nothing to do with these videos. However, if you are interested in either of these Panelline scribers, or maybe even some of the others I have tested in older videos, check out the links in the description down below. Now in the meantime, while I was talking about the Panelline scribers, I of course just scribed out all the Panelines, made them a bit deeper and pronounced a bit better, then of course sanded the entire body off, removing all of the mold lines and giving the rest of the body a nice scuff with some 600 grit, before now of course moving on to those hard to reach, easy to forget spots and applying primer on the rest of the body. With this first coat now applied, I let the primer in the airbrush and waited about 5 minutes to have that first layer cure, then moved on to applying a second layer in the similar fashion as the first one. With 2 coats of primer now applied to the body, it covered nice and easy, and I could let it sit for about 60 minutes to 2 hours to cure, then sanded it smooth with a 3000 grit sanding sponge to get all uneven spots out, maybe even some dirt that had fallen into it, and kind of polish the surface to be as smooth as possible for the color to apply to. So with that all done, I moved on to picking a color, and I came upon a color from Nissan. It's Silica Breath, and I really like it. It's a down low color, maybe a bit old school, but I think it suits the build really well. I found a picture online of one painted in a similar color, and I figured it would look really good on this build in combination with the wheels and some of the interior details that I will be adding. So I applied a first light coat, being careful not to cover it all the way and not to spray a coat that is too thick. As you can probably already tell, the color is covering really quickly. So about 5 minutes of curing time, and I could move on to applying the second and final coat. It is applied in a similar fashion to the first one, not too thick, but just being sure to cover everything nice and evenly. With the second coat applied, I took the model downstairs, applied a small Honda decal on the front, cured that with a hairdryer and some decal setting solution, and then mixed up my 2K Diamond Clear, started on those hard to reach, easy to forget spots with a first coat to cover those, and then moved on to a nice coat on the rest of the body to give it a good glossy finish. During the application of the first coat, you can already see that the gloss is coming, and it's looking really good already. Just to be sure, I let it sit for about 5 minutes to cure quickly, then moved on to applying the second and final coat. This one a bit thicker than the first to make sure that everything smooths out a lot better and gets a really nice even glossy finish all over. With the second coat now applied, I checked over the model once more just to be sure if some spots needed some more, and of course I found a couple spots that needed a bit more clear to remove some of that orange peel and get it nice and smooth. Just checking some more of the areas and adding here and there when needed. And now of course it's time to let this clear cure before I could start masking it off and painting a lot of the black trim.